Hey class, welcome to Unit 4 video. I'm going to talk about what this unit is going to entail, as well as what is expected for this unit, and a little bit about the upcoming assignments that we have, like the advocacy paper. For starters, you're going to watch this video, which is if we're watching it right now, or you're seeing me speak, clearly already watching it. We're going to read chapter 5 and 8 in the textbook. You're going to watch Nadine Burke-Harris, How Childhood Trauma Affects Health Across a Lifetime. You're going to read an article about ACEs prevalence study. And then assignment 4, you're going to submit that and do discussion board 3. This unit does not have a journal entry, so you won't be looking for that. You won't be completing that. The topics we're going to talk about are working with children, couples, and families. A lot of you are really excited about this topic and this unit. The counseling careers we're going to look at are child and adolescent counselors, marriage, couples, and family counselors. One of you asked me if we'd be talking about marriage and family counselors, and I said no, and I'm sorry, I guess I missed that part. So we are, which is a good thing, because I know some of you are excited about that. A lot of you want to work with children, a lot of you want to work with adolescents or families, even in schools. This is going to be a helpful one for you. And those of you who don't want to do counseling, some of you have mentioned wanting to be nurses or teachers. This is still going to be really, really helpful, because you're going to talk about adverse childhood experiences, how they impact children and adults and adolescents, and overall what the research says about it. That's what our discussion board is going to be about. So it's going to go on a lot of depth about that. So for the discussion board, you're going to want to do all the readings, in particular the ACEs prevalence study one, before you do the discussion board, because you'll have a lot of information there. Overall, you have all been doing pretty well. I graded your topics for the advocacy paper first, because I wanted to see what you guys were thinking. A lot of you have this idea already figured out, which is awesome. Some of you are still tweaking it. Some of you have very broad ideas. I encourage you to narrow it down, to look at the requirements and the expectations for this assignment, to make sure that you can answer them, right? Because sometimes we have these ideas, but if we can't fully answer the question we need, we may have to tweak it, change it, alter it. If you're unsure about your topic, if you wanted to change it, message me. If you didn't do the discussion of giving me your topic, you don't get credit for it, but I still need to know what you're going to do, and I still need to approve of it. So email me. So if you have not watched the last video I recorded, please do, because that gives you a lot of detail about the advocacy paper. I may do another video regarding the advocacy paper once I review your journals, because I know your journals will be like, what are your thoughts on advocacy, things like that. So I wanted to put this video out beforehand, just so you have access to it when you're trying to do the work. But once I finish grading your journals, then I can determine if I need to give more information about advocacy, the advocacy paper. If you guys have other questions, if you all have any concerns, please feel free to email me or message me if for any reason you want more clarification. That video, if that wasn't enough, but please watch that video before you come to me, because if you ask me a question that I answered in that video, I'm just going to send you to watch that video. What else? Please, please, please watch these videos, and please keep in mind looking at what is due, because I've got quite a few people who haven't submitted some things, and that's going to impact your grades. So my goal is by the end of this week is to submit your mid-semester grades, so you guys kind of know how you're doing in this class. Overall grades. You can always go in and look at what grades you have for the assignments you've completed that I have graded, and then kind of see how much each is for percentage. A lot of you are doing well, but there's kind of a handful of you that haven't completed things, so I'm worried about you all. I'm concerned, but like I always say, if you don't come to ask for help early on, I can't do much else. And if you come at the end of the semester, I'm going to tell you it's too late and I can't help you. Please remember that late assignments are not accepted unless we discuss it previously and if there's an emergency, but I simply forgot is not an appropriate excuse. We're in college now, and there's expectations of you all completing your assignments on time. I understand life happens. I understand it gets overwhelming and there's a lot going on. But you need to communicate that, right? Because if I don't know, then I can't help you. And if we don't communicate that, then we're all just kind of in this mess of not knowing. So, working with children, couples, and families. This is going to be child and adolescent counselors, like I mentioned, marriage, couples, and family counselors. But that's not only it. It could be mental health counselors, psychologists, right? So something that I often notice with this class is that people ask me about different titles. And there's a lot of different titles for different types of counselors, but they can also many times do the same thing. So really it's about what population you want to work with, what do you want to do, and then finding a program that will meet that need. So I've been having conversations with like one of my cousins who wants to be a school counselor or a school psychologist, and we've been talking about what schools is she looking at. So some of you have had questions about master's, PhD programs because you're about to graduate or finish. I really encourage you to look at the different schools and look at what programs they offer, because although two different schools can offer the same degree, it won't be the same training, the same background, it won't be the same emphasis. So really it's, what are you looking for? What are you hoping to get out of your own training and experiences, and who do you want to work with in the end? Other times we have situations like programs where you can kind of tailor your own training, meaning the clinical experience that you get. And then, you know, the courses are the core courses, but then the training where you work and where you do your clinical program or clinical work is what's going to help you with figuring out where you want to go. So I always emphasize to people, don't focus on the title yet. Figure out who you want to work with, what you want to do, and almost like work backwards, right? Because sometimes we work forwards where we look at this program, we're going to apply to this program, we're going to get this degree, and then we don't know what to do with it. So I always like to think, this is what I want to do. It doesn't have to be a set idea, but this is what I want to do. How do I get here? What are the steps I need to take? Kind of like big picture and then narrowing it down instead of narrowing it down and going to the big picture. I use my hands a lot to talk, and that's okay. So this video is going to be pretty short compared to last week's or 2 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago I wanted to go into detail with the advocacy paper. But just keep in mind that the advocacy paper will be due soon. Just want to make sure when I give you the proper response, your advocacy paper is going to be due in November. So you guys have about a month. So it's a good amount of time to work on it. Take your time. Don't rush through it. It's a relatively big paper, and it requires a lot of research. So if you started the night before, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be proud of the work you turned in, and it's not going to be your best work. And I am still getting to know all of you, but I can tell that all of you are very bright. You guys are really excited about this class. I love your enthusiasm, and just the effort put in, I can tell. So I have high expectations because y'all seem like a good group. So start early. If it gets overwhelming, what I like to do with like my dissertation, I broke it up into pieces. Like each chapter was like one piece, and I focused on each thing. Because think about it, if we take a big bite of something, it gets super overwhelming. We get too much anxiety, we get too nervous. And I'm a perfectionist. I also have ADHD, so I need to be able to break things down in a way that is manageable and that it lessens my anxiety about wanting to be a perfectionist, but I also am able to focus on what work that I need to get done. So I'm here to help. Remember that. So any questions you have, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, if you don't ask ahead of time, then I don't know, and then I can't help. My little PSA for the end is, it's getting darker sooner. Fall is around the corner, or no, fall's already here. Winter's around the corner. If you get impacted by the winter, I encourage you to talk to your primary care providers or your mental health providers about ways to combat seasonal affective disorder, or SAD like we call it. I know that I often get really down with the winter just because of the lack of sun, because I grew up in Florida. I grew up in a place where that was super sunny. So I ended up actually buying vitamin D and a happy lamp. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but basically light therapy is something that has been proven by research that helps with boosting your mood and your energy in the months where it's darker or there's less light. So actually I just got mine in the mail. It's on Amazon, so I just want to show you guys. And I've been using it. So basically it kind of mimics the sun. There's certain expectations or certain requirements for your lamp to be light therapy. It has to be like 10,000 lumens, and you want to make sure that it doesn't emit like UV rays. But some of these things are ways to be able to help you kind of navigate the longer winter months that often happen in Buffalo or the Northeast. Exercise, eating healthy, vitamin D, light therapy. What else? I know I'm not your provider or anything like that, but also just keeping in mind that the things that we eat, the things that we consume, and how active we are really impacts our mood. So just a little bit of extra info there on how to navigate some of these things. And I speak from experience. I moved from Florida to Buffalo for grad school, and the first winter was brutal. So now I make sure that I implement things in my daily activity and my daily life to help me get through that hump of winter, right? Snow is beautiful. I love the cold. It's awesome. I love fall. But when it's gloomy and rainy all the time, that's not ideal. So I'm not in Buffalo, I'm in Milwaukee, but Wisconsin also gets that too. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Like I said, if I feel like I need to post a video about advocacy, just kind of clarifying some things, I will. Last video I talked about possibly doing like a Zoom regarding grad school. If you are really interested in that, please email me, let me know, and we'll be in touch. Remember, all of these assignments are going to be due on October 24th at 11:59, which is a Sunday. So once again, you have 2 weeks from now to complete that. And within this next week, you will be seeing your mid-semester grades as to seeing where you're at in the class. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Take care and always ask us for help when you need it. Bye.